Hello, Praveen.
Hi, Gulshan. Morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing good. Is it the first time that you are joining this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. Welcome.
Thanks.
How did you figure this group of? Is there a common connect on people?
No, actually, I found Bala. I was referring to Bala's LinkedIn post. So there,
Correct.
connect.
Got it. Got it. Got it. What do you do?
I'm a software developer. I work at a startup in Bangalore
Correct.
as a
Okay.
mobile application developer.
What developer?
Mobile application, Flutter tech stack.
Mobile app. Got it. Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Got it. So these sessions are more. I mean, I will just give the caveat. Right? It's right now. It's more basic to help people get started with the coding in the first place, right? As simple as setting up a server, building APIs, storing FTP, how do we work with agents or other LLMs, etc. More for people who maybe have business areas but don't know where to get started, how to build. I think that's largely the focus of these sessions. I'm just giving this heads up because you are a developer. Maybe 80% of these things is something you already do.
But that is okay. But I want to explore AI stuff now. That's new to me. So that's why.
Got it. So we have been what some fifth session, I think. Um, Yeah, I think last few sessions we kind of used, I mean, we are trying to build a very small application called New Summarizer on a topic. It's a very basic thing. You input certain topics and the AI will kind of go search the internet, come back with a summary on the topics that you are interested in. So
Got
first 2, 3, 4 sessions we built more like a script where we integrated GPT-4o to go and, I mean, we use GPT-4o to kind of summarize, but use SERP, which has a Google search to kind of go and scout for the articles. That's what I've been doing.
Nice.
See,
And how's everything going on? How's this Holi and weekend?
Holi, I don't celebrate Holi actively, but there is a community gathering in the evening for Holi, so I might just go for it. Where are you based out of Bangalore? Somewhere else?
No, I was basically from Bihar, but my all education is done in Bangalore. Everything. Born in Bihar, but brought up here everywhere.
Right, thanks.
You're in Bangalore.
Yeah, I am based out of Bangalore.
Nice.
Yes. Hi, Praveen.
Hi, Vashal. Morning.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Vasily.
Hi, Gulshan.
Vashal, are you also someone wants to join? Oh, I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Maybe another 3, 4 minutes and then we can get started.
Hello.
Hello, Prashant. Good morning.
Hey, sorry I couldn't join last week's session.
No problem.
You guys haven't put up that video yet? I couldn't
No,
find it.
Bala, the script converted is back only next week.
Oh, okay.
So he hasn't put that in yet for me to convert that video yet.
Cool.
I was wondering who's Prashant C. No, I know one person, but this is not the case.
ரொம்ப நாள் மீட் பண்ணாலே அப்படிதான் ஆகும்.
You should get it. I'll ping you
I know.
separately.
Yes.
Hey, Prashant and C initially correct again, I was just thinking. And until you turned on the video, of course. Hi there. Good morning.
Hey everyone.
A lot of me.
Hi everyone.
All that.
Praveen, last week's webinar, did you upload? Will you be
Not it.
uploading?
We'll post by Tuesday.
Okay.
I was just telling Prashant, Bala has the script to convert it,
Oh, okay.
and I don't have access to get it up, and he's back only on Tuesday. So,
Okay.
but
Sure.
I can access. I mean, share the video link.
Yeah. It'll be easier to. So on the call, we don't follow it, right? Like,
I know.
if
We'll upload by
we
Tuesday.
can follow it step by step if we have any doubts.
Got it. We'll upload it by Tuesday, max Wednesday. First off.
Cool, thanks.
Another 1 more minute, and then we'll get started.
Maybe in the
Have you
meantime, new folks
how far are you
can.
guys into the? Have you guys tried building some of the stuff we have been doing? How is it coming along? Anybody?
Actually, so I'm implementing it in two ways. One is I'm trying to build apps from scratch on the
Good.
side, but in the company, what we did is we took a team license of Cursor and we
Yeah.
gave access to all our developers and the regular, like if a feature would have taken me 2 weeks, 3 weeks to build, now we are building that in 2 days. So that is a serious disruption in the way code is being generated.
Yeah.
So I am still trying to understand the system myself. The process is a bit different if you are working on an existing code base, because we don't want to give the entire IP to Cursor, access to Cursor. So what we are doing is we are building it in parallel. Small modules are
I see.
being built, and then we integrate into our main application.
Got it.
And on the side, I was trying to build a Flutter app yesterday, but the problem is it took me 4 hours to even do the setup. So it keeps on going into a loop to install a lot of dependencies. I'm telling it to build a simple Flutter app which works both on iOS and Android, and it asks me to download Google Android Studio and
I
a
see.
bunch of other stuff which it doesn't need to build a Flutter app.
Got it.
So just trying to figure out that process. Once the
Got
setup
it.
is done, I think it'll be easier to repeat.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I had a nightmarish time. I was doing a lot on Cursor. It became quickly complicated to the point I had to restore it to what I did in the afternoon. So 6 hours of work had to be thrown away. Just whenever you're using Cursor, just make sure you read the code once to see if it understood, because it just goes on one. I don't know what it's smoking up. It just goes and changes a bunch of things. So while it is helping, it can also. Yesterday I had one moment like that. Oh God, shit! I have to go back and reset and start again. Anyway, cool. I think we should get started. We have a couple of new folks. Varshil, is this the first time you're joining too? I know Gulshan
Yes.
and great.
Yes.
Maybe a quick intro for the rest of the folks.
Sure.
For the rest of the guys, I will send. I know I sent the last time we got caught up, but I will try to do it this week. Just a 1 minute quick intro to the team, and you can get started. Varshil, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. So, hi everyone. Good morning. My name is Vashil. I'm a product manager by profession, and I'm currently trying to build my own like side projects using AI. And I came across Praveen and Bala's LinkedIn post, and that's why I'm here. So excited to learn more from everyone, and happy to contribute in any way I can.
Super. Welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Gulshan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hello guys, this is Gulshan here. I work as a software engineer at a startup in Bangalore, and I'm mostly into building mobile apps in Flutter. So if you guys need any help in setting up or anything, please reach out to me or I'll help it. Yeah. So I'm just happy to learn exploring LLMs, AI stuff right now. So I just got
Got it.
connected to Bala on LinkedIn post and joined the group. Maybe learning from you guys. That's me.
Got it. Cool. Praveen, I think we overlapped at Zynga, I'm assuming. Uh,
Hey.
yes.
Hey, hi, Praveen. So this is
Hi.
Praveen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Praveen, I know you from very long time. So I just
Yeah.
accidentally saw your post couple
Got
of
it.
days ago, and I thought let me join in. And my wife was quite interested on this. She was talking about AI, and then the moment I saw your post, I was like, "Chalo, let's give a try this Saturday."
Okay.
And she's parallelly watching on the other screen.
I see.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm
Got it.
Praveen. I am an aeronautical engineer, and I work for a company called as Aero. We are Asia's largest drone survey-based company. We do from land records to mining and everything. So we've also integrated AI into our systems for analysis and all the other complex data analysis that goes for mainly for mining, so that we can analyze, do a lot of analytics, and also submit reports very quickly to the government. So not just India, across the globe we do it, and I'm also a DGC certified instructor. That means if you want to get a license to fly drones in India, you can connect with me and we can do that. Yeah, so this is the gist about me. Yeah, it's back with you, Praveen.
Sure. Welcome. Welcome. I think we have one more person, Shlok. Uh, if you could just give a few notes about yourself.
Yeah, hi. Hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so I'm Klok. I work in an agri-tech startup, and basically I'm a non-tech guy, and I wish to learn AI so that this is my first time to learn tech, and I just met Tarun, and he's my friend from college days. So he told me about this thing. Therefore, this is
I
my
see.
yeah, first session.
Got it. Got it. Super. Welcome all the new folks. So just a brief 2 minutes intro on what we have been trying to do. So Bala and I have been friends. Bala is not here. He will be back by Wednesday. He's traveling. So Bala and I have known each other for about 10 years, and we have been working on a bunch of ideas. Over 8 months back, when we were doing something, we were working with engineers, but it got to a point where we're not able to scale up in terms of moving the product itself. So we just decided to take the plunge to code ourselves. While we had some coding experience, it was literally outdated about 10, 12 years back. So with all the developments happening, AI-enabled coding, we just thought we will try it out. While I mean, now I think we have gotten to a point where we'll be able to build prototypes to validate the ideas. But when we started, some of the things that really took time was setting up the base structure, setting up the environment, setting up the basic set of APIs, database, etc. But once that is set, then it was more about thinking about the logic and how to convert code. So the idea is to help fellow builders to get to a place where they can start building ideas for themselves. I think that was largely it. Again, the code is largely generated by the AI assistant. It's like a super powerful intern who we should know how to leverage it. We will not be coding most of it. Having said that, the code that is generated might not be in production ready. That's the caveat. But who cares? I mean, I think the biggest problem is to get the first paying customer and the first 10 customers. So I think it will help us to reach to a place where we can validate any of our ideas. Very prototype focused building using AI. I think that's largely what it is. A little bit of summary on what we have been doing so far. We tried to clone a GitHub repository of an existing repo out there. Then we started kind of building a news application called Newsaro, which is to take some topics that we are interested in, summarizes based on LLM. We first did it as a standalone script. Last week, we kind of converted that script into exposing those functionalities itself through an API. I think that's what we ended up with. What we will do today is we will take that up a bit further where we will store user preferences as in against a mobile number, we will store what are the topics. We'll try to update that. Then we will expose an API to fetch the content based on this mobile number, store it in the DB. So largely around how do we store this in the DB, how to set up the DB, and how do we access this. That's what we'll do today. So what I will do is I will share my screen and load where we left last week. If you guys have any questions, just raise a hand or put because my screen is here for the code part of it. So let me know if you guys see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Something went wrong. Whatever. How about now? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let me open the folder. So for folks who are new, this is we at least Bala and I used to building on cursor. So this is how the UI looks. It's very simple. You have the code here, then you have a bunch of things where when the code is run, you kind of see the output here. This is the files. So this is where most of our work happen, which is the chat where you interact with the LLMs to kind of generate the code. The shortcut is basically Command L. Let's Command I or Command L basically. And there are three modes cursor which you need to know. One is agent, one is ask, one is edit. Ask typically does not change whatever is generated. It gives you a suggestion and you need to manually go and apply these changes. But when you do an agent, it kind of does the changes are also implemented on the files. I at least have not used it so much to kind of get confidence that it is doing a good job. Most of the times it kind of screws up. So I want to look at the code that is generated before I want to apply the changes. So I mostly operate and ask it to. So I'll just open the last week's project. Okay. It's taking some time to load. Let's wait. Okay. Okay. That is working slow. So these were the files that were there last time. We made some models and routes to fetch the new summary. So let's do one thing. Let's just get a brief to understand if the AI agent even understands a bunch of these things. To understand this code. Yes. So because we have started a new project, so to speak, it is not having access. So we can give context to the cursor by doing an @. So some of the main files that we have here are an API main. So I'm just going to tag those files, like how you tag people on Facebook, you can just tag them. And then you have API models and routes. So let's try that too. Models, routes. And then you have a couple of files, so to speak, which kind of does different things. One is to pick the content. One is to search the content, then get the content from that particular links, and then one is to summarize. I'm going to tag them as well. It's better to start asking AI what it knows from this so that you know it is understanding it the right way. Now let's see what it does. Okay, it's telling something. New summarization application. If you remember last week, we used Fast API to kind of build APIs. So it's saying we use Fast API. It's also available as a script because the week before that we accessed via script. Then it's saying you have separate components for search, content summarization, which is good. Then later discuss search, content summary, what it does. Okay, it kind of understands. Key features, async operations for better error handling, core support for web client. So the CORS means cross origin support. What it means is basically any domain can access our API. If you want specific domains, then you kind of have to configure it, but we will do that later. Then support for different time periods, correct health check. Okay, so it has now understood it. Terminal is where we usually run the commands. It's accessible via terminal, new terminal. If you see here, we talked about virtual environment. It's better to create a virtual environment for every project. The reason is different projects have different packages that needs to be installed. Packages are more like helper functions, so to speak. Since different projects have different packages and it's better to isolate them in a compartment, which is basically a virtual environment. Last week, I have already created a virtual environment, so it's already loaded that virtual environment. So I'm not going to do anything again. Most of the packages requirements are present here. So last time we used UVCon to kind of run the server. So let's ask this chat to give me the command to run the server, right? Give me that command to see what it does. No. There you go. Let's try this. Ideally, the server should be running after this. Okay, looks like the server is running. So one more thing that we can do is, last time we spoke about Grok. Basically, it's like a tool that exposes your local host on the internet. It creates a tunnel between your local host and the internet. So you just do HTTP and then whatever port our server is running. As you saw here, in the previous one, we ran it on 000 is a local host, port is 8000. So I'm just going to do an ngrok and expose it on the internet. And you get an URL here. Let's check if the server is running. So yeah, server running. We just ran this thing. Last time we put a root message which says I'm ready now. Server is up and running. So this is working. So now what we will do is just wanted to get a sense of, have you guys worked with database tables before? Just a quick show of hands. Or do you want me to explain how tables need to be thought about, etc.? I can't see the screen.
Praveen, is the question related to the technical implementation?
Yeah. So basically, the concept of tables in DB is something that is super familiar, or maybe I will just give a 2-minute introduction. So the easiest way to think about is it's like sheets on Google, basically. Each sheet you typically have different columns. So multiple sheets have multiple columns. Some of the more advanced concepts include column from sheet 1 can be referenced to column 2 on sheet 2. For example, if you have a team member who's mapped to a reporting manager, who's mapped to a department, then sheet 1 might have user 1 manager. Sheet 2 might have manager and department name. Another sheet might have manager and ID of the manager. So you see there is common links between all of them. We will talk, we can have a separate session for the, but think of it as tables which have some data, very similar to Google Sheets. Instead of Google Sheets, we're going to use something called Supabase. It's based on Postgres. It works very similar to Google Sheets. I know I'm simplifying it quite a bit, but it works for now. So what we will do is we want to store the user's mobile number, and we want to store what topics they are interested in. So we have to create a table users which has these columns. So when you log into Supabase, this is how it looks, right? And if you go on the left, you have a bunch of things: table editor, SQL editor, database, etc. So if you go to database tables, you can see a bunch of tables that are already there. So what we'll do is we'll go and create a new table for this. Just create a new table. Let's call this user underscore users description. Store the topics that user is interested in. By default, it has ID, which is the unique ID that gets generated when we insert rows into the table. It also has a created at stamp, so which also I think we will need. So let's do this. We'll just create say for now, and then we will add columns one by one. Okay. You see that there are two columns now. Guys, I'm not able to see the video. I'm looking at this. So if you guys have any questions, just speak up. Yeah. So I'm going to add mobile number as one of the column. Just the mobile number. For now, we'll just use it as a text. We'll do the validations later because we're just trying to get a sense of the DB. So I'm just going to put text here. Default. Although nullable, no, we don't. We always want values in this. The primary key indicate group of. Okay, so concept of a primary key is this value in this column should be unique. So we don't want duplicates of the mobile number in this table. So I'm going to make this mobile number as a primary key as well. So okay, the system. I've added one column called mobile number. Let's wait for it to get added. Okay, got it. It's still showing. I don't know what is happening. Let's wait. Give it a minute. Okay. Mobile number is created. Great. Now let's also store the topics of interest. There could be more than one topic that gets stored. So there's some data type called JSONB, which is more like a multiple keys that can get stored. So I'm just going to do that. This is not a primary key because multiple people can have similar topics. Do we want to allow nullable? Maybe not. We always want some topics against every user. So I have just did that. I'm going to save it. And then give it a minute.
Praveen,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
you picked up that data type as JSONB, no? Can
Correct.
you just give a quick TLDR of when to use JSONB?
So if there is usually large blocks of text, there's a key value pair, right? This kind of helps if it's an array of objects. For example, if one set is like ID equal to one, topic of interest equal to A, for example, you can have multiple of this. And if you want to store, you can use JSONB basically. So any large text which is in a structured form, but there's a multiple of them, you can use JSONB basically.
Got it.
Yeah. So now that we have created this, let's we need to give this information. By the way, this has some cool feature. Even Supabase as an assistant, you can type and ask whatever you want. We'll see how to do that in a bit. Now let's go back to cursor. We need to now instruct cursor to kind of use the Supabase and the table that we created to kind of store. So let's do this. So I want to expose, rather I want to build an API that will take inputs as mobile number, topics of interest, and store it in Supabase. Okay. Now, as of now, cursor does not know what is the table structure that we created here in isolated places. So what we'll do is we'll go to cursor and okay. Now here is where we need the assistant. So there's a green icon on the right. So let's say I want to understand the schema definition of the table user uses, which we just created. Let's see what it does. So basically, we are going to pass this information into cursor so that the cursor knows how to manipulate to be put into this particular table. So you see here, I mean, basically it's a technical description of whatever we created. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to create a new file called SQL queries.txt. Here are the schema descriptions, schemas available in Supabase. We call it table one. So users, and then as much description as possible. This stores the mobile number and topics of interest. Okay. Now I want to build an API that will take inputs as mobile and store it in database. The Table details present in, like I said, you can do an upgrade and then give context. Okay, now we have given the table details. We have told what to use. Now the cursor needs to talk to Supabase, and typically when two different applications are talking to each other, there's a concept of API keys, which needs to be set, which our project can then do. So typically where you can find this is, I think in account preferences, you have access tokens. You have the tokens here also. Let's find out. That's another place. If you want, you can generate a new token, but I've already added that as two keys in my work. So I'm not done it. I have not done. Let's try doing it. Yes. Okay. And there you go. This is the project URL. This is where our data is stored. So I'm going to copy this. Put it for a URL. I also need the key. There's a public key here. I'm going to copy that and put it here. Okay. And API keys and API URL. Yes, sir. Okay. Fine. Do you understand? Before we move. This is something that I do all the time because I want to make sure they even understands. Otherwise, you'll end up making a lot of changes. Let's review this. Create a new endpoint. We'll take mobile number, topic of interest, name, union security, everything correct. Okay. Store the information, which is a foreign. Okay. Use the supervised credentials. Storage system. Like me to help this. We need to supervise client. Registration, new API route to hide. Okay. Now it seems it's understood. Let's say that's so if you remember, we spoke about requirements.txt. Every project has different requirements. We are now going to install something called Supabase because this project still doesn't know that it needs Supabase. We have not installed it. You see here in requirements, it's not there. So I'll create a new terminal. I will do Supabase. Okay, that's installed. The only thing is it's not there in requirements yet. So I will just add it manually because I didn't give the instruction explicitly here. So the thing is, if you put in this in JIT, when next person kind of downloads it, it'll automatically install all the dependencies of the project. So that's why you need to add in Supabase. So that is done. Now for the user registration, it's a new model. Topics of the list of topics, minimum items is 1. User response. This seems correct. So it's applying to the existing models. Okay. It's imported something. That's okay. These are all the new things. So it's not changed any old code. So for now, seems okay. Let's just accept. Let's create a new file for database config Supabase client. Okay. Okay. This is a new file, so it should be okay. Supabase client. Okay. In config.py, it is loading that API URL and key. Let's just do that as well. The only two links are these two, so I think it's okay. So now, because we need to create a new endpoint, it kind of needs to store the user information. It's creating a new API called /users. If you know, last time we did .get, now it's post. So get is usually to read something from the table. Here we're going to put some information into the table, so it's actually post. There are 4 kinds of API requests: get, post. There are 2 more. Last time I saw get, this time it's post because they're going to put something. So let's see that what it's doing. It's converting the topics to JSON format, name, mobile topics of interest, and picking up this table, it's inserting the user. If it's not able to create user correct, then it's returning what is created. Great. Now we can use this endpoint. Here is how to test it. API server running, which is running. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's make these changes and try. Okay. Yeah, I think fine. Okay, there is an error. That's a big error. Okay, let me do one thing. Okay, you're not working. I don't have the mind space to read. Let me ask. And just say debug. You just select here, and then you get an activity that's saying debug or rather add to chat. Okay, issue with it. You need to import it from the datetime module, not from pin. Okay, seems to be an import issue. Okay, okay, accept file. Okay, now it's reloading automatically because we changed some things in the code base. Let's see. Now it is working. By the way, if you're wondering how if I make the changes here, it's automatically reloading. I'll tell you how it does. I'll show it to you again. I will stop the server now. You see here, Unicon, source, host, local. I have put an option called reload. So what it does is whenever it's useful for development, whenever you make changes in the code, it automatically reloads the server so that I don't have to manually run the script every time. So that's how it works. So this is working. The server is running fine. Now it has given me some curl command to kind of test. So let's run. This is how you call the API. There are 2 ways to do this. Either you can do this on the terminal itself using curl, or you can do Postman. We'll see both in a bit, but for now, let's try to do this. It may not mostly work. Let's try. Okay. Where is Supabase URL is required? Okay, what's happening?
I think the HTTP needs a Supabase URL.
Where?
It's calling the local.
Very good. Very good. Now, okay. So that could work because no, it should work. It's something. Mm. Okay. So I think it's not loaded the API key and the URL. So it's now trying to import, but because I was familiar with the code, it is also doing some other changes that is probably not needed. So I'm going to explicitly say don't do any changes. Do only the changes that are needed to fix the fix. Now it says I'll just do minimal changes. So this is the problem. It'll just go and change a lot of stuff. So just be careful with it. Supabase config. I'm uploading. Okay. The server is restarted. Reloading. No errors. Let's run the command again. Yeah. Hmm. File entry and
Praveen,
I'm gonna ask. Yeah.
one question, right? Like whenever you're selecting the error, either you select like the last 4 lines or 5 lines and not the entire error. Any logic? How do you decide how much?
So in this case, the previous server ran till here, and when I ran this, the error started happening only these two. So and hence I just chose the last two. But there are times where the errors are big from the time. So I kind of then select the context. So usually what happens, there is a place where the function call happens, which then has a cascading step errors. So it's better to select until the point where in your code you would have called something, then which would have messed up a bunch of things. So it might help to go until the place where that line in your code has started giving error basically. So in this case, I don't have much, so I select only this much.
Got it. Thanks.
So this one tricky error suggested Supabase URL is not properly sent. So okay, it's asking me to put some logs. Okay, I'll just try that. One of the things that I keep finding, I don't know if everybody else have these issues too. Sometimes the environment variables don't get loaded properly at all for me. Anybody else in the group have this issue?
Yeah, I keep facing this.
Yeah, I have to manually export. I don't know why it happens. But did you find a solution for that?
I just keep printing everything and keep
Correct. And
checking
that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, that's what this is also trying to do. Okay, let's try doing it. Okay, see here, it's none. That's why it's not working. Why is it none? Okay. Okay. Acha, okay, the key is wrong.
Supabase API URL.
Yeah, I know. I will change it. Okay. Let's run the server again. Okay. Now what? Okay. Oh. Wait a second. Yeah. Okay. 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 So yeah, I mean this key is correct. Probably this key was wrong. So I just asked it to implement using just load.env. I mean, if you just give a command like use load.env to load and run, it does a decent job. So right now the URL is coming. So maybe I will try to run that command again. Okay, something happened. Okay, it returned the response that got added. Let's just go and verify if it really got added in the database. So go to table editor. Oh no, our table is called. Ah, which is line. Ah, this is what got added. So now we have an API where you can use to, and this is something that I was playing around. So this is the file that this is the table that we have. So now that we have an API which will take and uses topics of interest, let's try to integrate the information which is there here, right? Which is in this table. Use this information, call our new summary app to kind of do as opposed to directly calling the new summary with the parameters last week that we saw. So which means what we need to pass the mobile number in the API. Now, based on that mobile number, we need to ask the system to fetch the topics of interest and then use the new summary. So that's what we need to do. So let's try giving that instruction. Here is what I want to do. I need to build an API that will take the input as mobile number. Based on the mobile number, we need to fetch the topics of interest from the table user underscore. Refer to that SQL queries.txt. Once you fetch the topics of interest, use these to the before implementing. Okay, accept a mobile number. Use this mobile number to fetch. Okay, that is correct. Once the topics are retrieved, use to generate new summary using your existing news summarization. Okay. Okay. Query Supabase, get topics of interest, generate new summary. Great. This will integrate with your existing user. Okay. Okay. Let's go with implementation. I mean, it seems to have understood. Let's see. Okay. Okay. User news request. Okay. Because we are going to add a new API. By the way, here it's a, I mean, it's purely get because I don't know why it is post. So that's the mistake that it has. And like we said, to read mostly it's get. For putting anything into the DB, it's mostly post. It doesn't make sense to use post first thing. Now, while it is generating the code, let's ask the question. Since reading from DB, why is this endpoint post? Okay. Get. Just remember this get is to read from the backend tables. Post is to just put something into the tables. So just It's not the best of the explanations, but that should help you get started. Okay. Now it has changed the router.post to router.get. This is a new endpoint. It's taking mobile number, it's connecting to the Supabase, connecting to the users, getting the topics of interest on the mobile number. Correct. Seems to be correct. So let's apply.
अरे मैं बोल तो क्या मैं बोल रहा हूँ तुम क्या बोल रहे हो?
Okay, this is correct. So let's do one thing. Let's test the API using this. Okay, let's run this. Okay, the response didn't come because there's an error. Okay. So Gautam, since you asked, right, here the error is pretty big.
Yeah.
I'm just going to select more until the place where it comes, and then I'm just going to do add to chat. See what is happening. I think when the previous generated code might have messed this boots. Let's see what has it done. See, this is what happens. It removed the entire implementation. So all these things happen.
Praveen, one question. Why are we using the 3.5 Sonnet version and not 3.7?
Yeah, so I've been playing around with both 3.5 and 3.7. For some reason, from my experience, it feels like 3.7 doesn't understand the context as much as 3.5. It's like a very excited engineer which does a lot more things than what I asked it to do, and I'm not able to control it. 3.5 I found to be a little more tame. That's just my personal preference. You guys should totally play around with 3.5 and 3.7. But like yesterday's scope that we talked about, right? I was using predominantly 3.7. It just went all over the place. I mean, yesterday was not the first experience that I had. So I've generally found 3.5 to be a little more controllable than 3.7. But that's my personal preference.
I mean, that's absolutely right, actually.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, I
What
use
happened?
that. 3.7 is very difficult to control.
Yeah, okay. It just becomes super excited and does a lot of things.
But we have to, if you specify the correct prompt, right, it does very good.
Yeah. If you see the prompts that I'm doing are not that polished. For that, 3.5 seems to be doing a decent job. I have a lot of control. I feel like. Okay. Now that I implemented the changes, what it does, it takes the mobile number. Okay, topics of interest. More topics of interest found. Okay, it is searching the news. It's integrating with our existing functionalities. Summarize the LLM. Okay, great. I hope this works. Okay, because I had the reload, it's automatically reloading. Supabase URL is there. Let's wait for the server to be up and running. Application startup complete. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me run the same command again. Let's go and check. Okay. Okay, it has gone past. Remember, we had technology, sports, and AI thing, so it's now searching. I think the API is working. Let's see what happens. By default, it has changed to 10. We could change it to 10, 3, etc. But let's wait. We're given, I think we're given 3 topics, I think. Technology, sports, and politics. Yeah, let me just confirm. Yeah, technology, sports, and politics. Okay, it has fetched. Now it's trying to summarize and use articles from each one of them. Okay, long. 200, okay. Okay, there you go. We call this URL. Okay, we got a response. Quite big. So what I do is I just go, just to check if the response is correct, I just go to this JSON formatter. Format and beautiful. Oh God, what happened? Oh, okay.
This percentage at the last
Yeah.
section. Just remove that. Yeah.
Correct. Oh, got it. Cool. Technology topics, sports, politics. Okay. Let's see if it's correct. It said last 24 hours. I know. Amazon will implement it. I think March 28th. Okay, got it. It looks like the news is. So if you see here for the JSON-B, this is almost how it looks like. You have summaries. This is pretty much how the structure will look like. You have same topic and summary as one tuple, if you call it, and then you have multiple of them. So this works. So this endpoint now works. So what we just implemented is we built an API that will store users' preferences in a DB, and then we built one more API to input the mobile number, pick the topics of interest from the DB, and then use that to kind of summarize. So we have built two APIs. I want to do one more. So it'll take I think few minutes. What we'll do is we'll also want to change the topics of interest for the user, right? Maybe I don't want any of these. I want healthcare, so I need to expose that as well. So let's try to build that as well. Need to build an API that will change the topics of preferences for a given mobile number. We have details. Schema. You don't need to give again and again, but I just give it just to be sure. Okay. Mobile number, new topics of interest. Okay. Okay. Since it's modifying, if you see here, since this is modifying data the database, it's a put or a patch. Put if you're replacing the entire topics, patch if you're modifying it. I would just do put. Basically, that's what I will do. I want to put endpoint. Hmm. Okay. You know what? I also want to make this endpoint a little more intuitive. So I'm going to say I want the endpoint name to be called as update users topics. Okay, to be more descriptive. I see here it has taken that and changed it. When it is generating the code, let's verify mobile number. Okay, update topics request. Okay, it's picking the table. Basically, we are in this case we are just overrating just for simplicity purposes. This seems okay. Let's apply. Accept. Let's also now try to understand if this endpoint is working. It's calling update user topics with this thing. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do completely different. Let's not put artificial. I'm just going to copy this. Paste this. I'm going to do health. Let's check. Okay, so I'm going to update this mobile number with this healthcare. Let's run this. Okay, I think that's an error. What is the error? Parameter output to default. Okay, not to default. Okay, I'm not passing something correctly, so I'm asking. Let's ask someone to debug. Incorrect parameter order. Okay. I don't think it's working. Let's check. Okay. Cannot import update topics request. Okay. Duplicate a new date. Seems to be an import issue. Let's check. Check. Okay. Looks like it must have deleted in one of the runs. Okay, it's not there. Okay. Let's check if it has added this time. Okay. Whether we don't need to create a new model, you can use one of the existing models because the data structure is the same. For now, it's okay. Okay. Now it works. It has returned that it has updated. Let's just check in the DB once to see if it is done. Let's just refresh the page. There you go. It is now updated as healthcare. Now what we'll do is we'll run the same API to fetch the new summary. Ideally, it should now work for healthcare. I also want to change one more thing. Let's search it now. I don't want to fetch 10 articles. I want to just fetch maybe 3 articles. Max articles T from 3. Okay. Let's run the same command. So let's see if it is running. Okay, what is this? Oh, okay. So some of these news websites, they kind of prevent the crawling of the content. So it's kind of forbidden there. Why is this not working? Oh, some information has come. So that's what. So it's nothing to do with our code. It's that their server, which is I think the hill.com has kind of doesn't allow crawling or scraping. So that's what happens. So in this case, okay, that's the result. Okay. I think it is in healthcare only. Okay. Topic healthcare. Okay, clear in the first 3 news. News is outbreak in news. Okay. I mean, I haven't read this news. I just verify. Okay. It looks like it's correct. It was posted 10 hours ago, so the data is correct. So, anyways, there we go. So, this is all we wanted to do. Just quick summary. We kind of built an API to store users' preferences on topics into the DB. Then we kind of used this to fetch and integrated that into the new summary that we built. We also have built one more API that will update the topics of interest. There's one catch. So if you see there is no authentication or nothing, ideally we should not do this. But because we're developing, it's okay. Ideally, the way it needs to happen is as an user, there is a key. And before inserting, we need to validate if this user can even update against this particular row. There are certain policies that we need to set up on Supabase. For now, I have kind of overlooked it, but this should for now get a sense of how do we store, how do we read data from the tables. There are 2-3 kinds of requests: API request, get, post, and patch. Get is to read information from the DB. Post is to put something. Patch is if we don't want to overwrite a column fully, but you want to update some parts of it, then you can use patch. So that's in summary about this. Next week, what we will probably do is, now that we have APIs to get the mobile number, name, etc., we will try to build maybe a front end where we will input some of these things. We'll integrate the front end with these APIs so that we'll have both front end and back end running in terms of one unit as opposed to calling from the APIs. So yeah, that's all I had for today. If there's any questions, we should definitely discuss. But that's all I had for today.
So, one question, Praveen. So you have also created a public endpoint, right, using ngrok?
Correct. ngrok, correct. We can try that. Let's try that. You want to try with that?
Yeah.
So this is a URL. So let's do this. This is a URL. Let me go to the browser. So just put this. It should just return servers running. Let's just verify that. Okay. Servers running. Now we need to call the endpoint. So let's do this. In the curl request that we did, what is the request?
I think second last.
No, I need to. Yeah. Okay, I need to get this right. This is a API this thing. So let's put it here. API is on update. And this is update. We want to read, right? I want to read. How do I read? There, this is API. Okay, let's see. We'll hit it here. It's running. Let's see if our server got the request. It is working. There you go. You got the response. So this, see, when you're interacting only with the local, I think local host is okay. This is needed. For example, I mean, maybe in one of the sessions we'll see. Let's say we want to send this every day in the morning on WhatsApp. So we'll integrate with something called Twilio, which has WhatsApp support. Now, when you push, then you'll get a response back from Twilio saying, okay, I have pushed it successfully. But then it doesn't happen in real time. So you will place a request, but then you want Twilio to tell your system that, okay, call me at this endpoint after you have sent or processed something. When we want such kind of functionalities, we need to give this URL into Twilio system saying, okay, this is the API endpoint of mine, which you need to call after the process is complete. Those are the times when you actually need this ngrok, because you can't give local host in Twilio setup because it doesn't understand. So that's what is helpful. Cool. Any other question, guys? I'm trying to find where the video is. I'm not able to find it. Let me close this.
Apart from the schema SQL text queries, have you stored these details anywhere for the cursor to know about these structures and tables available?
I think he exited the call.
Not there.
Okay. My mistake. I think we should ping him. I think he is not aware of it. 1 minute.
You're on mute, Praveen.
Oh, sorry. I was saying I couldn't find the screen of the image, so I had to kind of do it all over again. But thanks for joining, all of you. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah, Praveen, one question. I mean, apart from the SQL text query where you wrote one query, apart from that, did you specify anywhere else we have the schema with respect to like let's say when you have multiple tables and all, like are you keeping record of these contexts somewhere?
I do. So that's let me show you. That's a separate file that I created called sqlqueries.txt, which has information of all the schemas of the DB basically.
Okay. And you specify all what all do you specify all the column details and everything? I'm just trying to understand because I was trying to play, but
see, the more information, the better it is. The
okay.
better it will screw up basically. Because this was a simple application with mobile number, name, and topics of interest, it was able to deduce what those column names mean. But ideally, the more explanation that you give, the better it is. For example, in this case, it had some context. This was a mobile number and topics of interest of the user. So it was able to extrapolate what this table meant.
Understood.
Yeah, and whenever I want to do anything with queries, then I kind of keep referencing these SQL queries.
Okay.
I would recommend, for example, if you have some idea on how like API flows should work, what are the external APIs that you might be integrating, right? Just have one document for two things. One, for us also to understand how the API flows work and what do the APIs mean, what are the response that you will get, right? Keep that for reference for yourself. Well, you will end up getting clarity on that. Now that will also act as a reference for the cursor to go back and check if it screws up or if it wants to implement anything. That's what I have seen works better, as opposed to just putting the schema every time on the chat.
Right. Yeah, thanks for that.
Super. Happy coding, guys.
Thanks, Praveen.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Praveen.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Praveen.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.